Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Fahan bin Mak Ismail. My supervisor is Encik Azlan bin Abdul Aziz. Today, I want to present my final year project. My final year project topic is COVID-19 new cases and deaths in India using autoregressive integrated moving average ARIMA model. Introduction. Background of the study. The Ministry of Health in India have verified the overall of 31,787 cases, 7,797 recoveries, also 1,008 fatalities throughout the country as of April 29, 2020. Next, all around the world have declared this pandemic has been called on, with educational institutions and numerous business organizations shut down. On the Prime Minister's request, India observed 14-hour curfew on March 22, 2020. Lockdowns were imposed in about 70 areas where the virus incidents have been reported, also in the big cities. In addition, 24th March, India's head of government announced the 21-day national quarantine impacting the country's 1.3 billion people. The current countryside-wide lockdown was extended till 3 May by the Prime Minister on 14 April. According to observers, the pandemic's growth rate decreased around early of April. It welcomed the government's quick action emergency strategy of making immediate investment in healthcare, vaccine development, and aggressive reaction to the crisis, awarding India hundreds of strictness. Problem statement. The case began on February 15 of the year 2020 with 3 cases reported. The statistics show that the total cases are rapidly increasing, beginning on June 30th, when there were already 585,792 cases reported the same year. The data shows a chilling surge on December 3 with 9,571,780 cases reported, which is 16.34 times greater than the June 30 cases. Then on March 23 with 11,733,594 cases reported, a 22% increase over December 3. The cases began to rise again, reaching a peak of 29,973,457 cases on June 21, 2020. The first issue that India has is that its hospital can only accommodate 100 people each bed. Patients with chronic pain have been unable to schedule an appointment or receive treatment since all hospitals are collaborating to treat COVID-19 patients. Hospital operating procedures have been reduced and postponed since the quarantine began. Some hospitals closed because some staff have infected by COVID-19 for several days. Second, students with higher education face significant difficulties as a result of employment requirements being cancelled. The worldwide COVID-19 pandemic has motivated significant research. This epic pandemic has highlighted the influence on ongoing research during the pandemic. The significant are some barriers for the ongoing pandemic and the frontliners duty for the country as we go through with this pandemic, which is a long-term effect for our country and rest of the world, including all the research sector, specifically in the medical and clinical sector. It is significant to know and solve the problem as well as the frontliner duty. In December 2019, the historical first cases of COVID-19 were suspected in Wuhan, China, with deadly infected patients. All countries excluded Antarctica have been reported about this virus by 26 February 2020. About 4 million cases and 250,000 deaths were reported for the rest of the world 3 months after that. In April 2020, India was surprised with huge number of cases, which is 300,000 positive COVID-19 cases reported every day in a week. On April 26, India had the world's largest daily total of new COVID-19 cases, 360,960 positive cases, and more than 200,000 deaths, make India with a total of 60 million cases. Second in the rank is United States. The unexpected second wave in India appeared after 1 year of the tightest lockdown for them, and about 3 months in a row needed for the country health ministry to say that infection and death rate had reached record low because the efficiency strategies have prevented the spread of COVID-19. According to Chandrakan Laharia, an epidemiologist who contribute in creation of India National COVID vaccination program, people relaxed their protection after the initial wave, and he told that in some of the worst affected states such as Delhi and Maharashtra, community transmission was so inextensive that there were several local waves. According to the media, they are not practicing the social distancing and not putting the mask on, as well as large political protests have been blamed for the election recently, and some festivals such as Kumbh Mela with 100,000 of Hindus gathering at the Ganges River. Objective. The main objective of this study is to investigate the effect of second wave COVID-19 in India. The specific objective of this study are to find out how the second wave appeared in India. Next, to identify the major problem for the government of India to be faces. Next, to forecast COVID-19 cases in India. Scope of the study. The finding of this study able to enhance the understanding of the effect of the second wave COVID-19 in India. Besides, the problem can be solved in many ways for the government to take action. Next, the project investigated the main reason for the second wave COVID-19 in India. Based on the investigation, we can know what is the actual reason behind the cases that increased drastically. Furthermore, this study is significant because pointed out the causes that the second wave appeared in India. However, it depends on how the government manage well their country to live like normal life. Significance of the study. This study focused on the effect of second wave COVID-19 in India. Therefore, I will make a survey for the students from UiTM Arau Palace with no specific causes to be involved as the respondent for this study. Like any other study, this study also had some barriers such as time constraint. This is because the researcher only have been provided about 10 weeks to complete the study. Thus, the researchers are facing lack of time problem to settle the study along and with all the commitments. Next, the availability to access the internet also one of the barriers of this study, since researchers having poor internet connection due to living in rural areas and data capacity. Moreover, due to current situation, which is the Movement Control Order (MCO), this had limited researcher movement to collect the data. Chapter 2, Literature Review. With a diverse range of cultures and long cultural history, India is one of the world's oldest civilizations. It has experienced substantial economic growth in all areas since independence India. The world's 7th largest country is divided from Asia by its distinct cultures. India has around 1/5 of the world population and the world's 2nd largest population. India leads to national financial performance and is a well-known country with significant economic strength. India, COVID-19 pandemic is still having an effect on livelihood and the economy, with a devastating second wave having a negative effect even as a third wave grows in size. The rise in uncertainty have harmed consumer and corporate confidence. Growth could be zero or negative in the coming 2 years. One of the factors that affect India is air travel. This is because India ranked 70th in the world based on the probability of this pandemic being imposed by air travelers. With the major reason of this is that it's one of the most significant dynamic network. Severe variation in disease and deaths are differ in each group for COVID-19 infection, with the older citizen having deaths rising faster. Following the pandemic, the economy experienced a 3-year slowdown. The Indian economy was highly dependent on consumption due to poor trade and technology performance, which was negatively affected by the pandemic's first and second wave. Malaysia expressed its determination to further expand diplomatic and trade relations with India after the world's largest oil product consumer restarted purchase of Malaysian palm oil, making improved relations between the two countries. India buyers have agreed to buy up 200,000 tons of Malaysian oil palm after a 4-month delay caused by diplomatic dispute. Oil palm prices have fallen below Malaysia's palm oil tax minimum value, and New Delhi was chosen not to prolong import limitation on processed palm oil. Malaysia's desire to address a trade deficit with India has led to a rise in India purchasing. Malaysia has placed a record order for rice from India, total of 100,000 tons, which will deliver this year. Arima models offer a different perspective on time series forecasting. The two most commonly used techniques to predicting of time series are Arima models and exponential smoothing, which give complementary solution towards the difficulty. When it comes to exponential smoothing techniques, it will attempt to represent the data's trend and seasonality. The objective of Arima models is to represent the autocorrelation of data. Arima models were used to forecast some of the COVID-19 research in India. There are 820 results for all the researchers forecasting using Arima models in this year, 2020. Two study areas, for example, use the Arima model to forecast their research. This topic is special COVID-19 epidemic prediction using Arima techniques in India by Santanu Roy, Gauri Sankar Bunia, and Pravat Kumar. Then there is an application of Arima models to forecast the dynamics of COVID-19 epidemic in India by Rupinder Khattaj and Arpit Singh. Chapter 3, Research Methodology. Method of data collection. Daily data of new confirmed cases of COVID-19 in India have been collected from the website of the Our World in Data. The data was released from February 4, 2020 to July 16, 2021. Method of data analysis. Data cleaning. Go to descriptive analysis. Go to apply univariate time series modeling. Go to forecast future value. Univariate time series modeling. Autoregressive integrated moving average ARIMA model. In 1970, George Box and Gwilyn Jenkins developed the ARIMA model. ARIMA PDQ is the general term for the order of the autoregressive component P, the degree of the first differencing D, and the order of the moving average component Q. By smoothing our data differences, the ARIMA model aims to achieve stationary data differences in time series equation provided the ARIMA model forecast. Statistical software. This study's data was analyzed using the R and RStudio software packages. R is a free software environment for graphical methods and statistical computation that is based on the GNU project. It includes statistical inference, data analysis, and machine learning algorithm. RStudio is an integrated development environment (IDE) with a console and feature for charting, history, debugging, and workspace management. R packages provide a wide range of functions, and there are already over 10,000 of them. So next, we go to chapter 4, result and discussion. For this part, there is two analysis graph. For the left one is the new cases graph, and for the right one is the death cases graph. So we can see for the left graph, which is the new cases graph, shows that figure 1 demonstrate that COVID-19 new cases in India gradually grow from 31/5/2020 to 39/2020, but then decline over the next 3 years. The graph then shows a dramatic rise and decline over the course of a month, from 28 to 2021 to 31/3/2021. However, the graph showed increased movement. Then we go for the death cases graph. Figure 4.2 demonstrate that COVID-19 new deaths in India gradually grow from 31/4/2020 to 36/2020 and reach the peak death cases, but then decline back. Then the death cases increase slowly until 39/2020. The graph then shows a decline cases over the 6 months, 31/3/2021 and forward. The graph showed increased movement. We go to analytic description. So now there is 3 graphs. For the first one, for the figure 4.3 is a time series plot for COVID-19 new cases in India. For 4.4 is the autocorrelation function ACF for COVID-19 new cases in India. And for the third graph is figure 4.5, the partial autocorrelation function PACF for COVID-19 new cases in India. So the presence of trend component of upward and downward movement is seen in figure 4.3. The data is not steady as shown in this graph. After that, plot of the autocorrelation function ACF and partial autocorrelation PACF were made. Despite the ACF graph, the correlogram eventually falls, as seen in figure 4.4. The fact that the data series are not stationary is revealed by this pattern. The initial partial autocorrelation is crucial, but partial autocorrelation values for subsequent delays are unimportant. Then in figure 4.5, there is a large rise. Root testing is another way to check for stable data series condition. There is table 4.1, which is the ADF output COVID-19 new cases in India. So based on table 4.1, the series is not stationary yet, which is p-value is more than 0.05, and the first differencing needs to be conducted. Next, we go for the analytic description for new deaths. So there is also 3 graphs, which is the first one is figure 4.6 time series plot for COVID-19 new deaths in India. The second one is figure 4.7, the autocorrelation function ACF for COVID-19 new deaths in India. Then the third one is figure 4.8, the partial autocorrelation function PACF for COVID-19 new deaths in India. So the presence of trend component of upward and downward movement is seen in figure 4.6. The data is not steady as shown in this graph. After that, plot of the autocorrelation function ACF and partial autocorrelation were made. Despite the ACF graph, the correlogram eventually falls, as seen in figure 4.7. The fact that the data series are not stationary is revealed by this pattern. The initial partial autocorrelation is crucial, but partial autocorrelation values for subsequent delays are unimportant. Then in figure 4.8, there is large rise. Root testing is another way to check for stable data series conditions. There is also table 4.2, which is the ADF output for COVID-19 new deaths in India. So based on table 4.2, the series is not stationary yet, which is p-value is more than 0.05, and the first differencing needs to be conducted too. So for this part, which is the first differencing for new case, so there is also a tree graph, which is the first one for figure 4.9, time series plot for COVID-19 new cases in India after first differencing. The second graph is figure 4.10, the autocorrelation function ACF for COVID-19 in India for the new cases after first differencing. And the third graph is figure 4.11, the partial autocorrelation function PACF for COVID-19 new cases in India after first differencing. So the initial sequence was first differencing in order to make it stationary. For the figure 4.9, despite a time series graph that revealed no pattern after the initial differencing, the series wanders about 0, indicating that no pattern component are present. As a result, the sequence of the dataset reveals that it is stationary. The SCF plot in figure 4.10 shows no decay. However, the partial PACF graph in figure 4.11 reveals 6 significant spikes. After the initial differencing, we may infer that this series is stationary. So next, there is also 3 graphs for first differencing for new deaths. So for the first graph, figure 4.12 shows time series plot for COVID-19 new deaths in India after first differencing. For the second graph, if figure 4.13, the autocorrelation function ACF for COVID-19 new deaths in India after first differencing. And the third graph is figure 4.14, the partial autocorrelation function PACF for COVID-19 new deaths in India after first differencing. The initial sequence was first differencing in order to make it stationary. For figure 4.12, despite a time series graph that revealed no pattern after the initial differencing, this series wanders about 0, indicating that no pattern components are present. As a result, the sequence of the dataset reveals that it is stationary. The SCF plot in figure 4.13 showed no decay. However, the partial PACF graph in figure 4.14 reveals 7 significant spikes. After the initial differencing, we may infer that this series is stationary. For the first table, we can see in the estimation part for the new cases, in the set 2, the lowest mean error is at set 2, which is negative 25.678, and same set for set 2, the mean absolute scale error is 0.840. Set 2, there is two lowest value. Then for the set 5, it showed that the root mean square error is the lowest one, which is 6997.018, and also in set 5, it showed that mean absolute error is the lowest one, which is 3932.884. For the crucial table, which is the new cases evaluation part, so for the mean error, the lowest set is set 5, which is negative 32,451.458. Then for the lowest root mean square error, which is in set 1, which is 3830.02, and the lowest mean absolute error, which is in set 1 also, which is 3479.7, and for the lowest value in mean percentage error, it was in set 5, which is negative 1372.171, and the lowest mean absolute percentage error is on set 1, which is 31.17, and the lowest mean absolute scale error also in set 1, which is 0.76. So table 4.3 shows the summary for the ME mean error, RMSE root mean square error, MAE mean absolute error, MPE mean percentage error, MAPE mean absolute percentage error, and MASE mean absolute scale error for the autoregressive integrated moving average tested. Hence, table 4.2 above show that the ARIMA model with the partitioning set 99% because it has the lowest value root mean square error, RMSE, mean absolute error, MAE, mean absolute percentage error, MAPE, and mean absolute scale error, MASE. So we go for the table 4.4, which is include two table. For the first table is new dash estimation part, and the second table is new dash evaluation part. So for the first table, which is the estimation part, the lowest mean error was in set 1, which is 0.525. The lowest root mean square error, which is in set 4, 278.11. The lowest mean absolute error was in set 4 2, 115.97, and the lowest mean absolute scale error was in set 4, 1.03. Then we go for the new dash evaluation part, the second table. It shows that the lowest mean error was in set 3, which is negative 473.406, and the lowest root mean square error was in set 1, which is 166.04. The lowest mean absolute error is in set 1, which is 155.10. The lowest mean percentage error was in set 3, which is negative 183. The lowest mean absolute percentage error was in set 5, which is 30.37. And the lowest mean absolute scale error was in set 1, which is 1.35. So the table 4.4 shows the summary for the ME, RMSE, MAE, MPE, MAPE, and MASE for the autoregressive integrated moving average ARIMA model tested. The best error measure will be only compare between 5 sets of data partitioning in the evaluation part. Hence, table 4.4 above show that the ARIMA model, which is ARIMA 111, with the partitioning set 99% because it has the lowest value root mean square error, RMSE, mean absolute error, MAE, and mean absolute scale error, MASE. So the next part is discussion. So the experimental results are discussed in this sub-chapter. Using 99% of the estimation part, it can deduce the model utilized in this study is well fitted. Furthermore, the set of partitioning data for COVID-19 new cases in India exhibit many comparable features in terms of their performance in modeling the data and prediction accuracy for one model in 5 sets. Then the set 1 is well assessed for the root mean square error, RMSE, mean absolute error, MAE, mean absolute percentage error, MAPE, and mean absolute scale error, MASE, are well assessed for COVID-19 new cases in India. The error measure mean error, ME, and mean percentage error, MPE, were also properly appraised for set 5. Set 1 was chosen as the win set to anticipate the short-term prediction for COVID-19 new cases in India. With a partitioning of set of 99% estimation part and 1% evaluation part, in India, it has the highest accuracy in projecting COVID-19 new cases. Next, Next, the set 1 is well assessed for the error measure for root mean square error RMSE, mean absolute error MAE, and mean absolute scale error for MASE for COVID-19 new deaths in India. Then for set 3, it received high marks for the error measure of mean error ME and mean percentage error MPE. And for set 5, it received high mark for error measure of mean absolute percentage error MAPE. And the set 1 is well assessed for error measure for root mean square error RMSE, mean absolute error MAE, and mean absolute scale error MASE for COVID-19 new deaths in India. Then for set 3, it received high marks for the error measure for mean square error and mean percentage error. And for set 5, it received high mark for error measure of mean absolute percentage error MAPE. Set 1 was chosen as the win set to estimate the short-term projection of COVID-19 new death in India, with partitioning set of 99% estimation part and 1% evaluation part. It has the best accuracy in India for predicting COVID-19 new deaths. So next we go to chapter 5, conclusion and recommendation. So for the conclusion, only one approach was employed in this study to determine which sets are preferable for predicting COVID-19 new cases and deaths in India, using autoregressive integrated moving average ARIMA. For forecasting purpose, the conclusions of this study were evaluated and investigated for 5 distinct sets of partitioning data. The error measure for each data has been identified in this study in order to determine which sets are the best, with a partitioning of set of 99% estimation part and 1% evaluation part, giving the lowest mean square error, mean absolute error, mean absolute percentage error, and mean absolute scale error. The finding for new death demonstrate that ARIMA 111 is the best model with a partitioning of 99% estimation part and 1% evaluation part that provide the lowest mean square error, mean absolute error, mean absolute scale error. I presented a modeling approach that I believe can be easily adopted by others and applied to India's government or other countries planning right away. As a result, it may be inferred that the goal has been met. Next, we go to recommendation. Autoregressive integrated moving average ARIMA was employed in this research. A big percentage of data obtained per year was examined in this study. These outcomes might be twisted or incorrect. It is possible to collect a wide range of information. This researcher can also employ univariate approach to estimate COVID-19 new cases net and deaths in India, such as naive model, method of average, exponential smoothing techniques, and selecting best forecasting model. Thank you for watching and stay safe.